With all of that being said, all of that kind of led me to here. And so I kind of want to start you guys even way before the business. So if you guys don't really know me, I'm currently living in Raleigh, North Carolina. It's where I've been raised most of my life. But when we first came into the States, we kind of bounced around. So we kind of started in Florida, and then I lived in South Carolina for a little bit. And then we kept going up. My dad's thing was, we're going to keep going up the East Coast until we find somewhere that we want to settle. And so we, found Raleigh, North Carolina. We lived in Durham, which is a little bit more out. We found North Carolina. My parents absolutely loved it. So we were, they decided to stay here. And my dad and my mom, obviously, they didn't have anything. They didn't have documentation when we came here. They didn't have like anything. They had a very small amount of money and a very big dream to give their kids a better life. So we got here, and my dad decided he was going to start his own business, which started out as Bentoncourt Painting. And so he started his business and found out really quickly that, you can make a lot of money doing very little, like painting, bathrooms. And I say like good money because to him, making $200 on a job that only took him an hour and a half is like huge for him, right? Because you don't see that type of turnaround where we're originally from. And so my dad was like, okay, this is what we're going to do. And so he built his business. He started it with my cousin. And they kind of took on this like entrepreneurship world. And then very soon after that, his business just boomed from literally a matter of like the first 2 years of being here to like the rest of it. It completely boomed. He found this woman that he painted a house for. Her name's Miss Judy. And I call her my grandmother because she's quite literally my dad's angel. She literally calls my dad her son. I have an amazing relationship with her till this day. And Miss Judy told my dad, here's $100,000 and I want you to build a business with it, but I own a percentage of your business. And so she said, if you can flip this 100,000 in 12 months, I will lower my percentage and you can have a majority of what you're making. And so my dad saw that as an opportunity and a challenge. And my dad is somebody that's very competitive. And he was like, I'm going to do it. So my dad did that. He literally not just doubled the business, he quadrupled the business. My dad went from barely making like $2,000 a month to making 5 figures a month. And for somebody who has no knowledge on anything other than I know how to make money and I know how to do simple things. And he became an amazing leader. His business got very big. He had a lot of people working under him. And you guys, when I tell you that we went from living in an apartment that was 2 bedrooms with 8 people in that house. So it was me, or in that apartment was me, my mom, my dad, my little brother in 1 bedroom, and then another family of 4 in the 2nd bedroom. And that's what my life looked like. I thought that was normal as a kid, right? When you're a kid, you don't really know right from wrong. So that was just kind of normal. You just shared. And something that I always dreamt of was having my own room. And so when my dad's business boomed, we literally went from living in this tiny ass apartment with other people to living in a very nice home, which was a very middle class home in here. Like middle class is like 300,000 for a house. And so we moved into this very beautiful house and my dad started flipping. So I never had stability in a home per se, because my dad would buy the house that was a piece of crap. He would fix it while we were living in it. He would flip it and then he would sell it. So I have like my neighborhood that I grew up in, which is literally 8 minutes from my apartment. I drive there very often. And we lived in one house, flipped it, moved across the street, flipped it, and moved up the street, flipped it. And then something happened with my family where my dad left my mom for her best friend. And my parents' divorce was very messy. It was very, crazy. I was 11 years old. And for a female at 11 years old, you're very aware, you're very, pretty mature at that age. And so I kind of, I knew what was happening. I knew that my dad left my mom for another woman. And that's kind of where my story starts, because that was my first experience with shady women. That's where my trust issues stemmed from. That is where my insecurity stemmed from. My whole life, I was scared to do something because I was scared it was going to get taken away from me. And so I lived in a lot of fear. Majority of my, pre-adult life. And so that kind of bled into school. I stopped caring about school. I used school as my safety place. It was the place where I escaped my family shit. It wasn't a place for like education. It was literally like, there's no screaming here. Like, this is safe. Having conversations with people who they were like, oh my God, my mom did this for me and my dad did this for me, was different. I was very depressed. I was very suicidal. I was very fragile. And that's kind of how I was also raised to be. My dad raised me to be a woman that stands behind the man, never in front of the man, never next to the man, but always behind the man. I was raised that in a house where women do not speak, women cook, they clean, they reproduce, and they always stand behind that man. I grew up in the Spanish culture, and if you guys are familiar with Spanish culture, soccer is our thing. So obviously I grew up with all boys, and I wanted to play soccer like no tomorrow. I was like, I want to be on the soccer team. I want to be on the soccer team. And my dad was like, no, you're a girl, you don't play soccer. You do dance and you do arts and crafts. And so from a very young what I can and cannot do. And so I think for me, that kind of also killed my confidence in the sense of I couldn't be who I was. I couldn't do the things that I wanted to do. And so, going through high school, I was kind of the girl who, I never stuck to one group. I had like, obviously I had like my Hispanic friends because those are the people I gravitate towards. But I also, was really good friends with like, the Black girls and the Asian group and like, the white group. Like, you guys know high school, if you look at it, let's be all real and on the same page, it is very cliquey. Okay. You don't see a table of all different types of people. It's very like the cafeteria, everybody has their place. And I was kind of the person who kind of went to all the tables and kind of, said hi to everybody. Because I knew what it felt to be an outcast when it came to my family. Like, how embarrassing it is to tell somebody my dad left my mom for her best friend. Like, that is so embarrassing. I knew for me, at least, I felt like an outcast because everybody around me, their parents had a beautiful marriage. I didn't really have friends around me that had divorced parents. And so I felt very different. Being part of the banana split club in middle school was not something that, my friends were doing. I considered those kids weird, because my friends weren't in that group. So I was like, I'm part of the weird kids that, are part of this banana split club where we cry about our parents' divorce and have, ice cream sundaes at the end. Like, I just thought that was so weird to me. And so going through high school, I just kind of felt like, let me just make everybody feel included, because I don't feel included in my own life. I didn't feel included in my family life. I felt very disconnected. So I did everything in my power through school to just be the person that made other people feel good. I wasn't really worried about my grades. I was more worried about the girl that was like, going through her first heartbreak in the corner of the bathroom more than I was about my math quiz. And so I kind of just put my focus on other things. And so that kind of led me to, I guess, the end of high school. And I ended up graduating high school with like a very low GPA, like a low 1 point. And so I graduated with a very low GPA. I remember like them telling me, Nella, you have to stay 2 weeks after finals because you need to make up some stuff so we can give you your paper. And so it wasn't guaranteed staying after to get your diploma, but I actually got a call the morning of graduation. They're like, hey, you're gonna walk. And it wasn't like hey, you're gonna walk and get your diploma because you're an just amazing student. They gave me that diploma because they're like, we don't want to be the people dealing with you anymore, so we're gonna go ahead and give you to the next group. I also got held back in the 7th grade, so let's just say school was not my thing. Nothing against school, nothing against the education system. My mental state was not focused on that. I was focusing on surviving, not on a math test. And so I say that very honestly and openly with you guys because it was not a great time in my life. And I'm very proud of little Nella for surviving through that time of her life because it was hard. Not only that, but dealing with, the whole issue of like, who am I? I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what I liked. I didn't know, anything. I was a mess. So fast forward, I went to community college and I decided I was going to go into business. So I applied for a 4-year university after that. I am also part of DACA. which stands for Deferred Action for Childhood Arrival. So I still am an immigrant, or considered an immigrant in the States. I don't have a residency or a citizenship. So that was another thing. I was told from a very young age, like, the odds are against you. You don't have documentation. You're a woman. And, you're not really the smartest due to your record, school record. And so I always knew that was a bunch of BS. I knew I was smarter than I let people, lead on. Like, I didn't lead people on to think I was smart. When I popped out and now I'm running a 6-7 figure business, people are like, whoa, that girl's running a big business, huh? I kind of like caught people off guard because I just didn't put my skills and my passion into geometry. Sorry. It just wasn't my thing. So I graduated and I decided I was going to do business. So I went to business school at NC State, and it was great. I loved it. But I wasn't convinced. I only went to school because that's what my parents wanted me to do. My parents really like guilt tripped me into, we brought you to America to, give you American dream, and you got to go. And if you don't go and get the American dream, you're an embarrassment. And it was just a whole thing. But you know what? I was the first to go and I was the first to get out. So I went and I did all of what I could do. And then boom, I prayed and God said, I'm going to give you something, but it's going to look a little bit different than what you thought it was going to look like. And money fell into my lap. The November before joining this business, I didn't relapse, kind of relapse. But I was an addict before joining this business. And that's also a big part of my story. But I was swallowing anything that numbed it. And I think, a lot of people, kind of know what that feels like, or maybe knows what that looks like in another person. Some people, it's not necessarily drugs every time. Sometimes you overconsume other things, whether it's attention from men. Some people become like schoolaholics because that's how people numb themselves. It could be so many different things. I know girls that use Netflix to numb. There's so many different numbing factors that I feel like I'm more educated on now. But then drugs was my thing. I was taking any type of pill that was going to make me feel better. And again, it was very dangerous for me because the people I was running with were people that were very, I'm going to put it in a very simple word, and I don't want anybody to take this the wrong way, but they were very privileged. They knew that they could get away with the things that they did because they had one up on the system. They came from parents with a lot of money. And their solution to, doing illegal things was, my daddy's going to get me out of it. And my daddy was undocumented. And my daddy was not going to go anywhere close to a police officer if I got arrested. So it was one of those things that I lived a lot of that time in my life in fear, because any wrong move that I did, I could get deported. And that was always living in the back of my head. And so I became the mom of the group, making sure everybody got home on time, making sure, like, I was still like you guys, I was still a little messed up, but I was still like very on top of like making sure my friends were taken care of. And it kind of is crazy now because it's like I'm the undocumented one. You guys should have been taking care of me. But that's not how it played out. And so when MONAT came into my life, you guys, I really had nothing to lose. What was I going to lose? I lost so much. I lost so much through so many different chapters of my life. Like, oh my God, $200, that's what I have to lose? Absolutely not. I invested way more into drugs than $200. So I literally was like, you know what? I'm gonna make this work. You guys, I'm gonna tell you guys something so straight up. It wasn't the products that sold me. It was not network marketing that sold me. It was not any of those things that sold me. The money didn't even sell me. I mean, the money sounds great, but like, let's be real. These girls are making like hundreds of thousands of dollars. Like in my eyes, when I joined, I was like, yeah, okay, like sure, I'll get there. But what really sold me was like, holy crap, girls who are nice to each other, that's different. Like that's different, because the friends I had led me into rehab. You know what I'm saying? Like when I saw these girls leading each other to millions, I was like, okay, those are the girls I need to be friends with. So I joined this business. And the other big thing that pushed me to do this business is I'm in the minority group. And something that I didn't see in MONAT was minority. I didn't see Hispanic women. I didn't see Black women. I didn't see tan women. If I'm being very honest, and again, I love everybody on this call, okay? My boyfriend's white, so don't come at me, okay? But something that I just saw at the top of this business was no diversity. And I knew that if I was going to do this business, I was going to do it right. I was going to build a solid team of different men and different women, different walks of life, different ages, different colors. I wanted my team to be like a campaign for like Rihanna's foundation. Like that is what I dreamt of when I started building my business, and that's exactly what I did. If I look at my team today, I'm extremely proud of what I've built, not only by myself but with everybody involved. And when I joined, I was scared. I was literally a recovering addict. I was very paranoid. So when I was told $200 needs to be invested, of course, I had my hesitations on that. But I was a business student and I thought logically. That I did lead with when I joined this business. This business is amazing in so many different ways. It's a consumable product on a very consumable, addictive app. It made sense for me to make money off of it. And so yeah, I hit, MMP in my 4 days of being in this business. I hit AMB, MB, and MMB in my first month of being in this business. I hit MM, which is the Cadillac rank, in my first 8 months of being in this business. And I hit ED, which is the 9th rank out of 10 by my 3-year anniversary. Woo! Woohoo! And I became a mindset coach. I now help other broken people find themselves and figure out who they are. I lead a 7-figure business. In 2020, our team did 2.3 million in sales. So I can say that I'm running a 7-figure business. And so it's just so many things that have led me to this moment. But my biggest thing is what's led me to this moment is me. I owe my success to me. I don't owe it to my mom. I don't owe it to my dad. I don't owe it to a teacher. I don't owe it to a boyfriend. I don't owe it to a friend. I built this shit with my hands, my tears, my pain, and my hard work. And this business is the one thing in my life that nobody can take away from me. Guess what, you guys? If I get deported tomorrow, I'm still going to be able to run my business. If I get deported tomorrow, there's thousands of dollars sitting in a bank account and sitting in a real estate asset for my kids, for my family. I built this because I wasn't going to be the person like my friends. Oh, well, my daddy will take care of it. No, baby, Nella has to take care of it. If something went wrong, I took care of it. I don't know about you guys, but I was tired of living under my parents' roof. If you live under someone's roof, guess what? They control you. Okay? I knew that I wanted nobody to control me. If I wanted to go see Tom at 2 a.m, I was going to go see fucking Tom at 2 a.m. Okay? If I wanted to go to a party and go to the club till 3 a.m, guess what? I was going to do that. And if I wanted to stay up till 4 a.m. and network and work my business, I was going to do that. So many nights that my mom would literally text me at 3 a.m, Anto, put your phone away, go to bed. And I was like, this bitch is crazy if she thinks I'm going to bed. I just got started. I just woke up. Like, I just now getting responses on my polls. Like, I'm going to keep going. Okay. I kept it moving. And so I want you guys to know nobody's going to believe in you. I'm sorry. I wish that I could tell you guys something different, but nobody's going to believe in you. Your parents, your friends, your significant other, they might look at you in the face and tell you that this is a scam, or they might look at you in the face and tell you, oh my God, congratulations. And in the back of their mind, they're literally like, this bitch is actually crazy. But guess what? It doesn't matter, because nobody's going to build this except for you. I'm 23 years old, you guys, and I make 6 figures plus a year without documentation, without a hand. I wasn't given this. I worked my ass off for this. I can tell you guys, I didn't win or succeed to get here. I failed and got over it, and failed again and got over it and failed again. And that video that's going viral about the girl in the Olympics that fell and still fucking won, that is a representation of this business. That is a representation of entrepreneurship. Only because you fall doesn't mean you can't still win. Only because I don't have a degree doesn't, you guys, do you know how many business majors are barely making $50,000 a year? A year? and they're about like 60 or 70 or 80K in debt? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I can respect a degree 150%. 150%. I will respect a degree all day, in and out. I hope to God that my surgeons have a degree. Okay? But I'm going to tell you guys something. Stop waiting for the okay from somebody to do this business. Stop waiting for validation. Stop waiting for your boyfriend to tell you you're doing great. Stop waiting for your sister to become your VIP, because that is never going to happen until you believe and you are something worth fighting for. My family did not support me until I already had my Cadillac, until I already made $100,000, until I already built a very good business. They laughed at me and they taunted me. And you know what? Till this day, people in my family ask me when I'm going to get a real job, and I just laugh because they have no idea the type of money I'm making. But you know what? I keep it moving, because someone else judging me comes with the wins. People are going to judge you when you're broke as shit, and people are going to judge you when you're rich as shit. Pick your poison. Pick your poison. You want to be the person they make fun of because you're still living at your mom's house? Or do you want to be the person that lives in a multi-million-dollar house and they're making fun of you? You choose. You choose. Life is hard, but you get to choose your hard. Being in a relationship is hard, and being single is hard. Choose your hard. Being a mother is hard, and also being infertile is hard. Everything in life is hard. But the battles that you are given were chosen for you. You're never going to be given a battle that you cannot win. So if you're sitting here and you're like, oh my God, I joined MONAT and I still haven't seen what I want, have you been putting in the work that is required of you to get what you're wanting out of this? Because I'm seeing girls literally run their businesses and they're like posting once a week and they're like, why am I not making $1 million? Like, baby, there's a job over there at McDonald's that is always hiring, and they will gladly tell you what to do every day. Gladly, they will tell you what to do. Because guess what? You work the drive-through, those orders are coming in. You don't really have to do anything but say, what can I get you? And just pack up a bag. That's what $7 an hour is worth. But this, building a business, inspiring others, not just building a business, this isn't just about you. MONAT gives you the ability to put other people on. That's the hard part. The hard part hasn't been my mental battle. My hard part has been like, why doesn't everybody else want it as bad as I do? And having to be gracious with other people. When I started this business, you guys, if you would have told me an excuse, I would have been like, you're a fucking loser. Okay. And I had to do personal development because I was like, Nella, not everybody has as tough skin as you do. So I had to teach people how to toughen up their skin. I had to teach people how to run this business in the way that fits best for them. Because I'm going to tell you guys something. I don't really understand 90% of people that join this business. I don't. And I say that 100%. But the thing is, you guys, if you join this business knowing that you're 1 in a million, your work should show that. You join this business because you thought at your other job that you deserved more, that you're worth more, that you shouldn't be living paycheck to paycheck. I don't know who told you that because you're young, you can't have it all. Yes, you can. I'm 23 years old and I travel whenever I want. I buy whatever I want. I go wherever I want. I do for my family what I want. Nobody controls me. I have freedom in my life for the first time. But I have freedom in my life for the first time because I sacrificed a year of my life for this. You guys, I could sit here and give you guys a whole document of everything I've sacrificed to get here. And a lot of you are going to look at that and say, I could never do that. I could never do that. When I sacrificed holidays with my family, I sacrificed 2 years of holidays with my family so my kids can spend every holiday with their mother. The day I have them. I don't have kids, but I'm working towards that right now. I'm working hard now so my kids don't live in a classroom. They live on a flight, seeing the world and learning about history. If we're teaching our kids about Spain and their history, we're going to Spain and we're doing school there. That is what I'm working towards. I know what it's like to be a kid and want their own room. My kids are going to have their own room and more. And my kids are also going to be taught that only because you're a woman, my daughters will know that because they are a woman, that they can do anything because their mother paved the way for them. My daughters are going to know that I don't stand behind a man. I stand next to a man. You guys, literally tonight is a representation of that. My boyfriend just bought my dream car. My dream car. And literally I was like, Justin, you're buying it? He's like, yeah, I'm buying it. And he literally is probably blowing up my phone right now. I'm like, he FaceTimed me while I was in the shower and I was like, babe, are you in the box? He's like, I'm in the box. And he literally bought a G-Wagon and I'm literally so excited. I get to go downstairs off this call and go see my man's G-Wagon. And that's the thing. I prayed for him. I was like, God, give me a man that works harder than I do, that has dreams bigger than I do. And something Justin told me when he was buying that car, because he knows it's my dream car, I was like, oh my God, how sweet of you. You bought it. Okay, so I get to drive my dream car without having the commitment of payments. Like, you get to do that. And he's like, Nella, you never have to worry about me not taking care of us. And when I told you I was taking you to the moon, I meant it. I know that man's going to buy me another dream car of mine, and he's only going to buy it for me so he can drive it whenever he feels like it, you know? And it's one of those things. I want you guys to know you can have it all, but you have to work hard. So I love you guys. Thank you guys for your time. And I'm going to go ahead and start the VIP call for the girls.